Guys, I am going to show you the easiest way to make money on the FOMC days. So keep on watching. If your portfolio or even bank account looks something like now, to identify when is there going to be an FOMC day? What even is an FOMC, right? I don't want to go too in the weeds about it, but just know it's a really big day that comes around once or twice every single month. Just know it's whenever the Fed announces the interest rates. So this only happens once every 2 months, I believe. But if you go to forex.com, they literally give you the days, right? So federal funds rate, right? Whenever this day comes, it is the easiest day to trade. And I'll show you why it's the easiest, because there's something that all of these dates have in similarity. To save you time, I went back to each of those dates, really only 3 of them, because you guys can go back and do it your own self. But I went back to December 10th, October 29th, and September 17th, right? And if I zoom this in, right, what do these days have in common, right? Can you see what these days have in common? I'll give you a hint. What does this part, right? What does this part have in common? Before 1 o'clock p.m., right? The yellow line is before 1 p.m. What does all these dates have in common? Right? Just look at it. And if you go past all of these dates also, you'll also see before 1 p.m. they all have something in common. So basically, if you go to those dates and you go see the price action, right? I only showed 3 dates, but if you go to the price action, every single one of these dates before 1 p.m., price is gonna stay by VWAP. VWAP is this yellow line that I marked, right? So what VWAP is, right? It's just think of it. I like to have this channel super simple. Just think of it as an average throughout the day of the volume. The volume is the buying and selling, right? The average will be this line, right? If price runs up too much, it generally comes back down to VWAP, right? If price goes too far, it generally comes back up to VWAP, right? So that's how I trade every FOMC day. So as you can tell, I traded a lot, right? There's a lot of clutter here, but looking at all that, what really matters, right, is how much I made right here, right? My P&L on the day, right? I traded all those contracts, right? 16 orders, right, of all of these option contracts, and I made $364 today. Easy peasy, right? I'm gonna show you what I did on the charts. So this is what happened today. My yellow line is VWAP, of course, and to add VWAP, right, at least on Thinkorswim, you go here and you just type in VWAP, boom, do that, add selected, boom, it's right there, and okay, apply. But I already have it, so I'm not gonna do it. So now that you have VWAP, right, you plotted that, and if you're on Robinhood, it's something different. I can make a video on that, or any other broker. It's pretty easy. So we know its price is gonna stay near here, right? So we're really not gonna get price shooting way down here, right? We're not gonna start the day and just tick down, right? We're not gonna do that, right? We're gonna at least stay near here. And I believe my first trade, let's see my first trade. I believe my first trade, looking at it, when did I take my first trade? 9:43 p.m. I took my first trade 9:43 a.m., right? Let's mark out when I took all these trades. 9:43, right there. First trade. Go and look at my second trade. A minute later. Oh wow. I literally held that for, wow, I held that for literally a minute and made $68 in literally a minute. Look at that. Yeah, I made $68 in a minute. I opened this at 9:43. I closed it at 9:43. Wait, I made $68 in 29 seconds. Wow. I forgot about that. All right, so that was my first trade. Second trade, a minute later, I'm just gonna mark it at the same place. And basically what I did, right, my first and second trade, right, price ran down. I knew at least it wants to stay at least near here. I knew we're gonna get a small run up. So what do? Like I do always, I sell options. So I basically went here, option chain, 0 days. Like I say, I preach 0 day options are the easiest way to make money. If you know what you're doing, I know what I'm doing. If you want to learn more, like I said, link in the description, hit me up. So what did I do? I basically sold this option, right? Whenever you sell an option, right, I sold a put, so that means I want price to go up, right? So I basically sold it naked because I bought my protection way out here. And as you can tell, right when I bought it, 29 seconds later, it popped back up and I sold right there. And then it came back down and I got in again. And what did I do? I did the same thing. So whenever you buy a put, you want it price to go down, right? You want price to go down. Whenever you sell a put, what I like to do, you want price to go up, right? Remember, when you sell a put, your max profit is capped, right? If I sold a put and I took in, right, and I took in $200, right? If I took in $200, the max I can make up here, right? If the max I can make, is $200, no matter how far it can go. Let's say this stock runs to 100, right? Or let's say the stock was at 10 and it runs to 100. The most I can make is 200, right? Right? If I buy a put and I pay 200, right? So when you buy a put, remember, let's say you bought this for $200, right? If you buy it for $200, the most you can lose is $200, but you can make a crap ton, right? When you sell a put, the most you can make is 200, right? When you buy a put, you can make as much as you want, right? The max you will lose is 200, and you can just basically, that 200 can make you $5 grand, right? So then you ask yourself, why would I sell a put then, right? You just buy a put. Well, it's better to sell a put because one, let's say I sold the 695, right? Say I sold this guy right here. All I need price to do is just barely go up and I can make a lot of money, right? So, like I said, if price goes down here, right, and I sold a put right here in this area and price goes up, I can make a good amount of money, right? But if I bought a put, I need price to go way down before I see any big profits. And even if you get your big move, you actually need it to happen very fast. If that big move happens eventually and you've been holding this too long, you lose money on what you call theta. But I'm gonna get onto that into another video. But thanks for watching. I think my next video I'm gonna just deep dive how to sell a put for beginners. I think I'm gonna do that, right? And just focus on that so you guys can actually learn. But thanks.